Hello, I'm Coercer, and I'm back after a quite lengthy absence. Now, for those who don't know, which should be most of you, the Windows 10 Creator update caused quite some problems for my system, and I couldn't record properly. And then it also turned out that my graphics card had some issues, so I had to wait for a replacement. But now things should be working properly, so this is basically also a test to see if everything is as it should be. So we'll begin to watch the games from ArtifactCup number 29. Now we'll be skipping a couple of these ArtifactCups for the moment, at least until I get back into the groove of things, and then I'll maybe go back and cast some of the finals from the previous cups. I don't know if I'll have time to cast all of the games, probably not, but to get back into the groove of things, we'll start with ArtifactCup number 29. Now, since I currently don't have all of the replays, I'll just start with those that I do have, so those would be my matchups. In round 1, we had 4 matchups, and I was playing against Noneyadambus, which we have already seen a couple of times. So let's just load up the replay. The first game was played on Coercer. So let's get this started. We'll be watching this from Noneyadambus' point of view. He will be playing as the Coalition, and I'm playing as the Coercer. Now, Coercer is not one of my favorite maps, and usually I lose on this one because of artifact captures or some kind of rush, and I don't really know why this map doesn't click with me, but I just can't find my groove, or I can get into the zone on these maps. Now, just a second. I just had to check if my sound was coming through okay. Alright, so Noneyadambus has spawned as the Coalition forces down here in the south of the map. Let's reveal all. Let's look at production, and I have spawned up in the north as the Coercer forces. Noneyadambus is building up, or has built up, his initial salvagers. His base runner is now just hanging around for the moment, while I am opening up my first bulkhead, and I'm starting to long distance mine from that location. Noneyadambus has now started up his salvager production. He's researching Power Reserve 1, and he already has light attack vehicles researched. Nothing much going on here at the moment. I've plopped down a scanner a bit forward to see if anything will come here for this side of the map, and Noneyadambus is just building salvagers at the moment, expanding to his first bulkhead. He should fully saturate that in a moment, so he will be long distance mining from that location. And at the moment he has started his AAV fabrication, so that means we will see some AAV aggression from Noneyadambus, or maybe he's just building them so he can defend if I would choose to go to any kind of skirmish or aggression. But at the moment I am just content with salvaging as much as I can without interruption. Noneyadambus has plopped down a turret post, which will help quite a lot against anything that might come through here, through this gap. It's not exactly on high ground, because nothing here is much lower than that, but it should still help. Maybe it would have been better to put it up here. That could get some high ground advantage, but that third placement should protect both this bulkhead and this gap here, so that should prove to be quite a good defensive option for Noneyadambus. In the meantime, I have built some sand skimmers, and I'm scouting around on the map to see if anything is coming my way. At the moment, Noneyadambus is not researching anything. He is building a support cruiser, so he should be able to move his carrier to the next bulkhead, or move that support cruiser there, which should speed up his salvaging quite significantly. I'm now building additional salvagers to open up my second bulkhead, and Noneyadambus has fielded his first AV. Now that AV is quite a good early game unit. It's good for aggression. It can take out salvagers, it can take out sand skimmers, and if it gets close enough, it can also take out assault railguns and heavy railguns before it gets taken out. Now, if the AV, of course, is exposed to those assault railguns or to those heavy railguns, the AAVs go down quite quickly. Of course, with the smoke ability, the AVs can also close the distance quite efficiently. Noneyadambus is trying to hunt down the sand skimmer, but even if it gets through here, those two turrets will take it out without trouble, and they do. So basically, I didn't get any kind of useful info out of that, except that there are now 3 turret posts there. So that position is unassailable at the moment, at least with sand skimmers. My other scouting sand skimmer is now causing some trouble for those first salvagers that are going to open up that second bulkhead for Noneyadambus. And Noneyadambus now has his second support cruiser out on the field, so he should be able to boost his salvaging if he gets that support cruiser over to those salvagers. And if the support cruiser gets here in time, it should be able to heal up any damage this one sand skimmer is doing, so that harassment will be a bit useless on my part. Now, I have constructed assault railguns and a heavy railgun in the meantime, while Noneyadambus has just AVs on the field. So this should go in my favor. Noneyadambus is not researching anything at the moment. He has quite some resources available, and he has just started assault cruiser fabrication. And those assault cruisers can be quite good, especially on maps like these, where heavy railguns are not as efficient because of all of these side blockers, these dunes, these valleys, and the mountains all around the map. I almost lose an assault railgun in this engagement, but that's too much of a long range force for those AAVs to handle. And now I'm free to move ahead into Noneyadambus' territory. Of course, at this moment I don't know exactly what he has in his main base, and Noneyadambus has powered up both his turret network and his range systems, so he can open fire on those railguns that are trying to harass his main. His carrier takes some damage, but that should be pretty easy to heal up with the support cruiser, and it isn't that damaging at the moment. I have 2 more heavy railguns incoming, which should boost damage of this assault group quite handily, while Noneyadambus is expanded to all of his resource locations. I'm pumping out sand skimmers to see if I can harass any of the other locations while this main assault is going on here. The assault railguns are now scouting ahead for the heavy railguns. The AV pops out and gets almost immediately assaulted by this force, and of course the Gaussian units regenerate health over time if they're not in combat. At the moment, Noneyadambus can't quite see these assault railguns. Now that they get in the range, the carrier opens fire, but the assault railguns are quite quick and quite nimble, so they can dance around a bit and hopefully avoid most of that damage. Noneyadambus has been placing down a lot of turret posts, so that my attempt to cause some economic damage fails quite badly. But anything that Noneyadambus builds from his carrier almost immediately gets eliminated by these heavy railguns, while the assault railguns dance around in front, try to get as much damage in as possible. Now of course, if you leave them alone, most units will preferably target salvagers if they're visible, so you have to be careful with your units, and you should tell your units to focus fire exactly what you want to die, because at this moment all of these heavy railguns were firing at that one salvager, and as soon as I noticed that, I ordered my heavy railguns to fire on the carrier, and as soon as that fire is being focused on the carrier, you can see the damage stack up quite quickly. The heavy railguns reduce the armor of any unit they hit, and the assault railguns provide the raw DPS. But Noneyadambus has now popped out 2 assault cruisers, and the assault cruisers immediately open fire and take out 2 of those assault railguns, where those heavy railguns are still safe due to their superior range, and both of those assault cruisers get taken out, and I lose 3 assault railguns to that. So that was a good trade for me. The assault railguns, not the assault railguns. Let's see. The assault cruisers. I can see how much they cost, and I always forget how much units cost in this game. I tried to scout with the assault railgun to see if I can take out Noneyadambus' carrier with my heavy railguns, and in the meantime I was just busy building up my tech. I've teched 2 missile ships because I thought that Noneyadambus was going to go air, and I've also researched some power reserve, so my carrier is buffed up. Noneyadambus is now trying to defend my combined assault railgun and heavy railgun assault with his carrier. He has put almost all of his power into range, which is helping him defend against these assault railguns, and the assault cruisers are of course quite handy against the assault railguns. But as long as Noneyadambus can't take out the heavy railguns, he will be in quite some trouble. In the meantime, I am picking up the artifacts on the map and moving them to my extraction zones. I've captured 2 so far, and a 3rd one is on the way. So Noneyadambus is in a bit of trouble. I have assault railguns and heavy railguns streaming in from across the map, and now my carrier is moving in with buffed up speed, and Noneyadambus is still sticking to assault cruisers, and I lose all of my assault railguns in Noneyadambus' main to 1 tactical missile barrage from that assault cruiser. That was quite careless of me. I wasn't paying attention to what was going on in this side of the map, and I've just now noticed that I've lost quite a chunk of my forces, and I immediately pulled back without even realizing what exactly it was that took out my forces. I think that when we were playing the game, I thought that maybe Noneyadambus had built a battle cruiser, so I was being a bit more careful. I've right now captured another artifact, so I'm leading with 3 artifact captures. My carrier is now moving in to support my force, and Noneyadambus' carrier is now tanking all the damage from those assault railguns. With that support cruiser there to heal it up, and without any heavy railguns. Do I have any? Yes, I have 1 heavy railgun, but it is not quite as potent as several heavy railguns just focus firing down a carrier, and another tactical missile barrage takes out a huge chunk of my forces. I lose all of my assault railguns and a heavy railgun to another barrage, so Noneyadambus is very good with those barrages, and I am being very careless with my units. My carrier is quite powered up. I've just put 3. I've filled up 3 bars on my carrier, and I've got 2 in my range systems. So I'm slowly taking out all of the defenses of Noneyadambus. The assault cruiser isn't doing as much damage to my carrier as it would to any light units, and I'm just taking out the turrets and logistics modules, waiting for my reinforcements to arrive from across the map. Now I probably could have built another production cruiser and moved it closer, so I wouldn't have to wait for my reinforcements. And now my carrier has taken quite some damage. It's now at 8,300 health, but I have appointed regeneration systems, so the carrier is slowly regenerating. Now Noneyadambus is researching assault cruiser anti-air. He has seen that I have interceptors in my carrier, but I'm afraid he should be focusing on building more units. If he would turn around his carrier so the railguns pop out in this direction, and with some vision from that assault cruiser, or maybe if he would put even more power into his range systems, he should be able to just hit my carrier from a safe distance, and I would have to retreat. He did get my carrier quite low, and if there would be some railguns here to support him, he might have a chance to take out my carrier quickly. But as it is, I have now built up another huge force of railguns. I have 6 heavy railguns and 4 assault railguns, and I'm just waiting for the right moment to move in and get vision on his forces, and take out his carrier. But Noneyadambus moves in with his assault cruisers. He didn't really know what exactly I have besides my carrier, and now that I have vision of his carrier, all of my forces are just focusing fire on Noneyadambus' carrier, and I'm afraid this will be it for the first game of me versus Noneyadambus. Now I don't know if you've been watching my previous cast, but Noneyadambus has improved quite a bit, but going for assault cruisers did provide some good damage for him. He managed to take out quite a lot of assault railguns with well placed tactical missile barrages, but he should have tried to build some supporting units. Assault cruisers go down quite quickly. They aren't very heavily armored. You need some kind of unit to support them. But well, let's see what happens in the next game.